Hello and welcome to the subject of functional grammar, lesson 4 for the students of College of Education, Department of English. And as I have told you that for the discussion of this subject, functional grammar, we depend upon Halliday's Introduction to Functional Grammar, and this is our reference book for a study of this subject. This book is an authority on this subject matter. So if you have the chance to get this book, try to read and you will get more information about what is functional grammar. It's an excellent book. Before we start the lesson 4, let's review. Let's discuss about what we talked in our lesson 1. That is to say, review of lesson 1. If you recall to your mind, in lesson 1 we talked about what is grammar. We also talked about branches of grammar. Then we have two branches of grammar. Number 1, formal or traditional grammar, functional grammar. Then we talked about formal or traditional grammar. It has two subtypes, descriptive grammar, prescriptive grammar. Then we talked about descriptive grammar. It has two sub-levels, word level grammar, sentence level grammar, prescriptive grammar, difference between descriptive and prescriptive grammar, functional grammar. So we talked about all the basic elements of grammar in lesson 1st. If you recall to your mind, you will come to know about all this information. We move on to the next, that is to a review of lesson 2. So let's talk about lesson 2. What did we talk in our second lesson? We talked about what is functional grammar, to text, and we talked about what is text. We also talked about text as an object, text as an instrument, text as artifact or a specimen, text as a register, grammatics, semiosis. So all these topics we talked about in lesson 2. Please try to recall to your mind, try to refresh your memory with this knowledge. Then we talked about lesson 3, that is to say review of lesson 3, analysis of a text at the level of phonology. So we talked about how a text can be analyzed at the level of phonology. And we talked about constituency. One, phonological, means at the level of phonological level, how text can be interpreted. And we talked about what is constituency, what is phonology, line, foot, syllable, rhyme, onset, rank scale. So all these topics we talked about in our lesson 3. Okay? Now, and today we are going to talk about graphology, lesson 4. So in the lesson 4 we have the topic graphology. Okay, move to the next, analysis of a text at the level of graphology. If you remember, in lesson 3 we talked about analysis of a text at the level of phonology. Here in lesson 4 we are going to talk about analysis of a text at the level of graphology. Okay, so this is the second point, constituency, second graphological. Our first point was constituency, first phonological in the lesson 3, but in lesson 4 it is all about graphology. So we have the constituency, second level graphological, means graphological level of constituency, graphical level of interpretation of a text. And here we will talk about these topics like graphology, what is graphology, sentence, sub-sentence, word, letter. Okay, so we move on to the graphology. So let's talk about what is graphology. Look here, graphology, we have 3 points, and all 3 points are important to understand what is graphology. The study of written and printed symbols and of writing systems. Look here, graphology is the study of written symbols, a study of printed symbols. So what is written and what is printed, all those symbols could be the part of the study of graphology and of writing system, and also all the writing systems, all the elements, all the things that take into the writing process could be the study of graphology. Point number two, in linguistics, however, the name is used for the study of the writing system of a language and for the system itself. So in linguistics, this term graphology is used for the study of the writing system of a language, how the system is followed in a language to write something, and for the system itself, means the system itself, how it works, how it helps writing happen. We talk and we discuss about all these things in the field of graphology. Point number three, graphology is considered a level of language parallel to phonology. Look here, graphology is also a separate subject, like phonology is a separate subject. So it is as important and as parallel to phonology. Means that graphology is like morphology, like syntax, like phonology, and so on. So it is a branch of linguistics. In itself, it is a separate subject of study. That is the point in 3. Okay, we move on to the next. Graphology, we continue. In modern English writing, we have a graphological rank scale of 4 ranks. So graphology, as we talked about, it has we have 4 ranks. Graphology is divided into 4 subcategories. It has 4 ranks, 4 divisions. Number 1, sentence. Let's talk about what is sentence. Look here, we are not going to talk about the definition of sentence. We are trying to understand what sentence basically contains, what are the characteristics, what are the attributes, like this. From the point of view of graphology, from the point of view of the writing system, how it works in print, in writing, not as a part of grammar. What is sentence? Like a sentence is a group of words and so on and so forth. Look here, number 1 point, it begins with a capital letter. So sentence begins with a capital letter. It ends with a major punctuation mark such as full stop, question, or exclamation mark. So it begins with a capital letter, and a sentence also ends with punctuation marks like full stop, like question mark, like exclamation mark. This is all about sentence. Okay, this is the first rank scale. Second, graphology, we have subsentence. What is subsentence? Let's talk about it. It is bounded by some intermediate punctuation marks within a sentence, such as colon, semicolon, or comma. Look, a subsentence is all about what is happening in writing system within a sentence. So within a sentence, sometimes it helps us to write a long sentence. Sometimes we put colon, sometimes we put semicolon, and sometimes we put comma. So all these 3 punctuation marks like colon, semicolon, comma, they always happen and they occur within a sentence in the system of writing, and that is why we call it sub-sentence. Means not full sentence, a part of sentence. Okay, go to the next point, number 3, about graphology, the third rank scale of graphology. Word. What is word? Number 1 point, it is a single distinct meaningful element of a speech or writing. So word is a single word. It is distinct, very clear, it has meaning, and it is used in a speech or writing. Okay, point number 2, it is used with others or sometimes alone to form a sentence. Sometimes a word can be used alone, sometimes many words can form a sentence. Point number 3, it is typically shown with a space on either side when written or printed. So what is the characteristic of a word in writing system? In writing system, a word has a space on either side when it is written or printed. Like you can see, look, this is the word, and we see we have the space here, left side, and we have the space here, right side. So on either side, when written or printed. So these are the attributes, characteristics, and qualities of words when written on paper. This is the third rank scale of graphology. We move on to the next, fourth, that is later graphology. Point number one, it is a character representing one or more of the sounds used in a speech. So a letter is basically a character, a sound, and it is represented in a speech. Okay, it could be any of the symbols of an alphabet too, and letter could also be referred to any of the symbols of alphabet, like A, B, C, D. All these are letters. So all the alphabets separately could also be considered as a letter. And this is the rank scale fourth, graphology. So basically what we find that graphology, the writing system, we have first sentence, then we have subsentence, then we have word, then we have letter. Okay, and this is beautifully, then we have, sorry, I think this letter is repeated 2 times, so this is not needed, this can be deleted. Okay, so by mistake, I'm sorry, I could not delete this slide. Okay, so it is repeated. Move on to the next. Look, examples of graphological constituency: sentence, subsentence, and word. And of course later we have, so look here, we have this sentence, we have this sentence. So this is the sentence, this is the subsentence. Why subsentence? Because it is comma is used, full stop is used, sometimes we can use colon, semicolon. We have another example, we have sentence, subsentence, subsentence, here we have comma, we have full stop, sometimes semicolon, colon can be used. Then we have these words. So let's see. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. There came a big spider, which sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Look at the sentence. This is a sentence, big chunk of sentence, constituency of sentence. Then we further can divide sentence into subsentence. When we divide subsentence, we use comma, colon, semicolon. So here we have used comma. So little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet and comma. And these are the words. Likewise, there came a big spider which sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Look, it is a long sentence. Look, long sentence. The long sentence is divided and again divided into 3 sub-sentences. The first sentence, there came a big spider, comma, which sat down beside her, again comma, and frightened Miss Muffet away. So sub-sentence, and they are the categories of words, and they are the letter. Letter could be anywhere you can see. A group of letters make a word. So these we can say examples of graphological constituency: sentence, subsentence, and word. Okay, so this table is just for understanding. This need not memorize for the examination. This is just a part of understanding how a big sentence can be divided into subsentences, then further can be divided into word and into a letter. That is to say, rank scale of graphology. First is the sentence, second is the subsentence, third is the word, and fourth is the letter. Okay, so this table is just for understanding, just for comprehension, to understand what graphological constituency is all about. Okay, so we move on to the next, questions 1. Look here, questions 1. Point number 1, write in detail about graphology. So we have 3 points about graphology. Write all those 3 points in detail. Point number 2, question number 2, what are the 4 ranks of graphological constituency? 4 ranks. Write only the names. Number 1, sentence. Number 2, subsentence. Number 3, word. Number 4, letter. This is the answer. You can go back. Write only the names. Okay. Then go to the question number 2, questions type 2. 3 questions. Explain, explain each one of the following graphological rank scales. And now explain each one of them. Sentence, we have talked about. Subsentence, we have also talked about. Word, we have also talked about. Letter, we have also talked about. So when I ask explain each one of the following means everyone. I may ask in the examination 1, 2, 3, 1, all 4, depending upon the situations. So please keep all the points in mind for the better understanding of this subject matter, that is to say graphology. Okay, and this is the end of our lesson 4. We have one more lesson in this functional grammar, that is lesson 5, and lesson 5 could be the last lecture of functional grammar in this series of lectures. Okay, hope you have understood, and good wishes. Goodbye.